Hi, welcome to Teacher Nikki's Kitchen, where I'm always sharing something with you that my family loves. Today, we are going to make a chocolate tres leches cake. Just like my other one, it's going to start with a box of cake that we just level up. So the things that I've done before you got here is my oven is set to 350 and I have all my ingredients here. The first step for us is mixing up the ingredients. So what I have is the triple chocolate fudge cake mix that I'm going to add to my mixing bowl. We are just following the directions on the back of the box for my 13 by 9 pan. So to this, I'm going to be adding a half a cup of vegetable oil, 1 cup of water, and 3 eggs. I put my oil and water together so that it would be a more consistent, even pour. Next, I'll add my 3 eggs, one at a time. 1, 2, it's starting to look a little splashy, so I'm going to turn it down and scrape the edges before I add the 3rd egg. Make sure we don't have any of the cake mix that is not being mixed in. Nope, that looks good. So we'll get this 3rd egg in. And looking at the box, it says that it should be beat vigorously for about 2 minutes. So I'm just going to turn that up to a 4 and let it do its thing. Okay, our 2 minutes is up. We're going to scrape down so that we don't lose any of our chocolate batter. Have my trusty 13 by 9 easy foil pan. And the best thing about these pans is that they come with a top. Going to add a little bit of my avocado spray to the pan just to help with non-sticking. Now I'm just going to pour my cake into my 13 by 9 pan. I'm going to put a pan underneath my 13 by 9 just to support it as it bakes. The instructions on the box say it will take about 28 minutes and the cake will be ready. So let's get it in the oven. Now that I've gotten Sir Mix-a-Lot cleaned up, we're going to mix up our icing. which has a little bit of a surprise. It is made with the Dolly Parton chocolate buttercream frosting as the chocolate flavor. So to my mixer, I'm adding 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream. And we're going to whip that until it starts to thicken. Then I'll add the good stuff. Okay, we're gonna turn it down and see. Yep, we're definitely thickening. We're definitely having whipped cream. So this icing has a whipped cream base, but we're going to add the chocolate buttercream. We're ready to do that just a little bit at a time. We're gonna give it a scrape down and then we'll add the rest. Scrape down the sides of our bowl so that we get all of the chocolate mixed with the yummy fluffy. And we can already scoop out the rest and get it in there. "30 seconds is up." Give it a little taste. That is a light but very chocolatey topping that's going to go great on our chocolate tres leches. Let me get this into the fridge. Our cake has about 15 more minutes to bake before it's ready to come out and start cooling. You know, this past week, the other teachers that I work with, we had a conversation about what we were responsible for at Thanksgiving when we were kids. My job was always to make at least 2 box cakes as part of dessert. One was always a yellow cake with chocolate icing, and the other was either red velvet, chocolate, strawberry. The other was an alternative. I'd like to know what your responsibilities were as a child during Thanksgiving. Were there things that you did to support the meal? If so, let me know in the comments below. And if you're a mom or there are children in your life, what jobs do they have at Thanksgiving? I'm so thankful to have had the example of my mom of handling it all, because she made an amazing Thanksgiving spread. And so that's my model. Mine is smaller because my group is smaller, but she's who showed me that it can be done, and it can be done with love. Thanks, Mom. It's been about 28 minutes and it smells like our cake is done. Let's check. Yep. Here is the base for our chocolate tres leches cake. The next step for the cake is that we have to let it cool before we can pour over the 3 milks that make it a tres leches cake. I'll come back in about an hour and see how cool it is. While we're letting our cake cool, I'm going to go ahead and show you how I mix up the 3 milks. Again, it is the sweetened condensed milk, it's evaporated milk, and heavy whipping cream. So the first thing is the sweetened condensed milk, 1 can. Into this, I'm going to add 1 can of evaporated milk. And since the sweetened condensed milk is so thick and rich, I'm going to spend a little time stirring it so that it can all become incorporated. All right, we're going to give this a stir. And then we're going to give this a whisk to help it blend together better. Yep. Now it doesn't feel clumpy. It feels all incorporated. The measurement for the heavy whipping cream is 1 of the sweetened condensed milk cans full of heavy whipping cream. And that's how easy the 3 milks are. And it turns out to be about 4 cups of liquid. Can you imagine that there are 4 cups of liquid that get absorbed by this cake? It's what makes it so decadent, so rich, and so tender. It's amazing. We're gonna put our 3 milks in the fridge also. Our 3 milks are going in the fridge with the icing while we're still waiting for our cake to cool. Our cake has now cooled to room temperature, so it's cool enough for us to add our 3 milks. Before we pour over the milk, we're going to use a fork and we're just going to poke holes all throughout the cake to make sure that all the yumminess seeps all the way to the bottom. And so we're going to dock the whole cake. I always go around the edge where it is the most done, a little bit extra to make sure that that cake is able to soak up all the milk too. That looks good. I'm going to give my milk 1 more whisk and just make sure that all my ingredients are still well incorporated. They are. Okay, and then we're going to pour it slowly over our cake. It is totally okay if the milk pools around the edges. Once the cake has time in the refrigerator to drink up all of its milk, you won't even see it. And move my whisk for easier pouring. Our cake is ready to go into the fridge until all the milk is soaked in. Oh, you look like you need some more. All 4 cups of liquid. The cake goes into the refrigerator until it is well cooled and all of the milk has been drank into the actual cake. So into the fridge this goes for about 2 to 3 hours. Okay, our cake's been in the fridge. It's drank up all the milk. See? No milk on the outside. You can see the rim where it was piled up, but now the cake has drank in all 4 cups of that yumminess. So what's next for us is that we are going to use our chocolate buttercream whipped cream icing, and we're just going to add that on top. Let's spread out what we have and see how much more we need. Yep. Now look at that. Chocolate cake, chocolate buttercream icing, filled with yummy, milky goodness. So I'm going to take a little taste from the corner. That's my taste, the cake, the chocolate buttercream icing. That is a delicious cake ready to share with people that you love. Remember, once you finished it, pop it back in the fridge and leave it in there until it's ready to serve. It will the flavors will continue to meld and get better together. If you've enjoyed learning about my chocolate tres leches cake, please give me a thumbs up. If it's something that you try with your family, let me know in the comments below how it went for you. Again, I'm glad you stopped by Teacher Nikki's Kitchen, and I will see you next time. Bye.